Hey guys. So there's this old saying, give it to God and go to bed. My grandma has that on a little plaque picture thing that somebody gave her. Oh my god, I just noticed the closet door is open and that shit creeps me out. Hold on, because I just got in bed. I'm here pet sitting Gracie. You guys probably hopefully remember her from one of my previous videos. She's that golden colored long haired dachshund. So I'm over here pet sitting her again. Hold on, let me close the closet door because if it's open, that creeps me out. Okay. Oh my gosh, just been watching like all these like haunted house things and things where like people like see spirits and like I've lived in some haunted houses growing up, right? And yeah, so he's been watching that stuff lately and so like now every time I'm in houses I'm always like more paranoid, more overreactive imagination, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Anyways, back to what I was saying. There's a saying that says, give it to God and go to bed. And okay, maybe you believe in God, maybe you don't. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Okay, I believe in a little bit of everything and yet nothing. So, something that's kind of been on my mind for the last couple weeks is there's like two different things that's just been racking my brain kind of. And one thing is, I think I might have mentioned it in a previous movie video vlog, is um, me, like us moving to another state. We're thinking maybe in a year and a half, roughly, give or take 6 months. You know, ideally it'd be nice like in a year and a half. Probably a year would be nicer, but it'd be nice to just move away from where we live. It's not like, oh, we want to move somewhere where we could have a house or apartment or anything like that. I think we'll still be doing like van life or where we end up moving because I don't know, it's just kind of convenient for us. Cost wise, we have the 3 dogs. So a lot of things it's just kind of like better and easier. Um, so there's a few places we're thinking to staying more western states only because Jeff's dad is pretty old. And so it'd be nice to still stay within like a 3 hour or less plane flight. So if we have to fly home, um, for those of you that are new, I live more in the middle of California. Like it's called like South Bay area, part of Silicon Valley, part of Bay Area, basically, of California. So, yeah, so with everything getting built up so much around here and so many more people, like it's getting so crowded, it is getting beyond ridiculous for the cost of everything, even working like full-time jobs, even maybe say working under the table, maybe pulling extra jobs, maybe even living the van life. It's still like you're just kind of chasing your own tail. It's just sad seeing mainly how things are going where we both grew up. We're born and raised here. Jeff and I'm 40 and he's 47. So we were born and raised here. And to just see how it's gotten the last couple of years and how it's going the direction it's going, and it's like I don't really want to stay here anymore. I am kind of like so done seeing how things are going. That's not what Jeff and I are like really part of. If we were part of the rat race and thrived on that, this would be excellent environment for us. But we're more like, I guess, old people kind of. We move at a slower pace. We're like kind of hippies where we just do things in our own time, in our own way, against the grain. So we're looking for something more, not quite small town, more medium town, I guess, to move to. We don't want a big, huge, major city, but maybe live shortly outside of that. So, anyways, a few places we're thinking of, because we want something that's not too hot, not too cold, something that is maybe a little cooler than what we get for summers would be nice, you know? So we're kind of looking, obviously, like places like Oregon, Colorado, maybe Washington. There's like maybe Salt Lake City, maybe, I don't know quite yet. I'd only been through that area like once, but that was a long time ago in another life. But yeah, we're thinking of some places in Oregon mainly. I'm kind of thrown between like Oregon and Colorado, kind of. Um, Maybe I think Washington might rain like a little too much. And I hear Boise, Idaho is good. So if you go on one of those like top 10 places to live, you know, there's like places Washington, Oregon. I mean, there's other places like Florida and North Carolina and those places in Austin, Texas, which would maybe be nice, but right now, because Jeff and I, our parents are pretty old, it'd be nice just to be able to fly back home if we needed to in a matter of just an hour or two or three, you know? So that's kind of what we're looking for. And kind of the reason we want to maybe move in like maybe a year and a half, give or take, is because Jeff's dad's getting pretty old and his Alzheimer's is like, it's bad, but I want Jeff to be able to still have some time with his dad while his dad is still somewhat coherent, you know? So basically, when he's to the point where he really can't remember Jeffrey and we're like nothing and doesn't remember much, then it's probably like okay for us to move away then. So it's like I want him to have this time while his dad's still like decently coherent to like spend that time with his dad, you know? It takes maybe about an hour from where we live to go visit his dad, you know? So, you know, there's also like Reno and places like that, you know? So we're still kind of in the planning and researching phase of things. Part of me is like excited to just go start somewhere new, do something new and different. And part of me is like that nervous, anxious feeling because I probably don't have the best patience if I know, okay, my end goal is I just want to go point A to point B. I don't want to have to do this, and you can't do this till you do that. You can't do that till you do this, you know? I mean, luckily we don't have to worry about like, oh, when we get there, what kind of housing are we going to have? And we have to save for that and deposits and at least all of that we don't really have to deal with or do or be like, oh, is our jobs transferable and things like that. So that's kind of like a little bit of a relief in that area of stuff. But it's also like, you know, where is it kind of like van life friendly in a way? Because some places are probably not that great for that, or the way the weather can be, you know. So yeah, we're kind of thinking of those places. If you guys live in any of those places or been through many places or anything you would kind of like recommend, we're kind of open to suggestions. But we're kind of still like in the research thinking phases. I'm thinking, you know, a place that's like maybe even a little bit better for like allergies and asthma and things, you know. Even with Kaylee, I've noticed she kind of has some allergies, you know, like, you know, she gets like kind of congested sometimes. And I think it's all the stuff in the air. And where we live, there's like smog. It's like terrible. A lot of pollen. Like, it's not the best place for allergies. So as you can hear, I am kind of congested. But I'm kind of like really tired and pretty run down too because it's the end of the week. And so we're looking for a place, you know, that is dog friendly, kind of more of a smaller town, but not like too small, you know, or close enough to where you're still by the major cities, but not to where it's so expensive, you know. I feel like anywhere else from where we live will seem cheap, okay? Because some people are like, oh, how about this or that place? Oh, it's expensive. I'm like, what's expensive? I mean, I've lived in the most expensive place ever for my whole life, pretty much, but like, especially in the last couple of years, you know, it's just crazy, ridiculous how it's gotten here. Anyway, so anything else would seem like really cheap, and we don't have to pay rent or anything like that, you know. And, you know, a place that's pretty dog friendly, a place that has great outdoor activities and things. I mean, we love to hike. Anything with the dogs we love to do. That's pretty much, and we go out and eat a lot. And that's, I guess, our lives in a way. But, you know, we'll see an occasional movie. It's nice to have, like, normal stores, I guess, around. Like we're good enough if it's got like a Target and probably a PetSmart or something. We're pretty low key that way. Um, yeah, we're looking for like, something that seems like that small town or like that small town feel, but maybe still has like everything like a big town, maybe, and something, that's also like where we live, like nobody's really like near our ages, where everybody is like way older or way younger. So it'd be nice kind of to have some people like, I don't know, maybe Clint, hopefully. I mean, that's a little far on the list, but it'd be nice like to have some people around like our age or things like that, and maybe more like middle class type people. We're not looking to move to a rich area. We already deal with rich people in our field of work, so we're kind of like so over it. It's nice sometimes if you don't live that lifestyle to dabble in it a little bit and be like, wow, this is what it's like to be a rich person. But we're not that way. We're so low key. But anyways, I'm kind of like rambling, and I only have so much memory card left on this. So yeah, we're thinking about moving and kind of getting ready and preparing and just mentally preparing, and and then also, so it's been 11 years. Actually, like I think August, September will be 11 years that I've been doing my career basically, where I'm a pet care specialist. So I do dog walks, pet sitting, some grooming, a little bit of training, all that kind of stuff. I take care of like every kind of pet people have, mainly cats and dogs. But I do love what I do. I think I love the pets the most. And I have some clients of mine that are like so dear to my heart. They're like extended family. They're like better family to me than my normal family is. And so it's like bittersweet. So I'm thinking to like change jobs, change careers. I don't know yet what I want to do. I'm kind of jack of all trades, so I don't really worry about that. Like I'm that person, I'm like, oh, I could do this, 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 and this, and this to pay the bills. So no big deal. But I'm that person too where everybody has the same amount of hours in a day. We all have to work to make a living. We all got to work like, let's say 8 hours. How do you want to spend those 8 hours? To me, I don't really care about the money so much, but I also don't want to be a slave either for really low pay, especially knowing what I make being a person with their own business. But I do like what I do, but I'm honestly bored and burned out. And it is taking a toll on me and my health more so lately, kind of. And it's just sad where I guess now that we live in the van, I feel like with my dogs and Jeff that we're more of a family. And so now when I'm having to do pet sits, I feel like I'm away from my family, and juggling the two lives, like my work and them. And then it's like, well, what do I do? The pet sits make good money, but it's always hard being in a different home, different place, different, you don't always sleep. Like it's ruining my back in a way too, because I'm sleeping at so many different houses, like kind of regularly. And it's like, but so it's like just a lot of things about my job that is just kind of wearing on me now. It's not just now, it's actually been like for a long time, but I just like, but I love what I do. What else would I do? This is what I'm made out to do. This is what I'm great at. Like, I have a career. I support myself living in the Bay Area on this. Like, I've loved it, but I think I'm just ready to learn something else, do something else. And it's kind of weird because like here I wanted to be a dog trainer. Like I really wanted to. I researched it, and I mean I've done some of it, but I wanted to be a professional dog trainer and everything. And researching where do I want to go for school, who do I want to train through and things like that. And it's like I kind of really got to thinking, I'm like, it's almost like what I'm doing now, but just makes a little bit more, or it can make almost like double, it makes more than what I do currently, and you could really kind of technically work less. But it's still interviewing with clients and scheduling and talking and texting at all different days and times, people's requests, and like you almost have no life. You're like, you gotta like be on it all the time, eat, sleep, live it, breathe it, pretty much that type of work, as what I'm doing now. And it's like, I want to be there for the dogs and help them, but it's the owners that I'm like, oh, you guys shouldn't even have a dog, kind of thing. And it's just, I don't really want to deal with it anymore, So it's kind of hard because it's like, oh, I had my heart set on being a dog trainer, but then I don't know, it just clicked in my head. I've really got to thinking about what I'm currently doing. And it's like, do I still want to continue doing that, but just in a slightly different field of my work? I really don't, and everyone who's known me is like, go be a vet tech. You're so good. You know science, you know dogs, you know how to handle. And I don't. It's too much schooling. I'm not into that. They don't make that much. They pretty much almost make what I make, So, that's Gracie. She wants to go back outside, out of the room. I don't know why. You can just stay here. So if you hear her scampering around and whining, that's Gracie. She like wants to go out. She likes to go in and out. And you're like, no, go to bed. It's bedtime. So anyways, no. Come here. Come up here. Come here. Come on. She's like, and she's like wagging her tail. Like she totally knows what I'm talking about. Huh? Because you're smart enough. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ah, there she goes. Come here. Let's see. Look. Say hello. Oh, you're sliding. Come here. Ugh. Ugh. There she is. There's that girl. You going to tell everyone good night? We're going to go to bed soon. Yeah, we're going to go to bed soon. So anyways, so it's kind of like bittersweet. It's like exciting to go start something else and do something else. No, we're not doing that. But then it's like scary and sad because this is what I've done for 11 years and I've not known anything else. I've never like thought, oh, I need to go get a different job and like having job security and what will I do now? And, to me, I don't need to bring in that much money, just enough to pay the bills. Part of me thinks, well, why don't I go be one of those digital nomads? Because I do know some decent amount of technology. I know I'm bad and don't even edit my own videos, but I'll learn. But I'm pretty tech savvy in a way. There's always like online courses and stuff you can take and learn. I'm pretty creative. I designed my own website for work, and then I had a friend do all the coding part because he went to school for that. But that's not, I can learn to do that, So part of me is like, well, maybe I love Vans. I'm obsessed with Vans. I redesigned mine a couple times, and I sketch out van designs all the time, because I can only remodel mine only so many times. So there's times I sit there in my sketchbook and I'm like, I know, I came up with these other ways to rebuild vans, so maybe I go work in the van building industry and build out vans for people. I could still do the landscaping with Jeff and redo people's yards. I don't know. So I'm kind of like in the middle of looking around, like what else do I want to do? I wish to, like, there's some jobs I wish we had around here, but because everything is tech, there isn't. So like it'd be cool to find a place that builds like tiny houses or something, It's like I feel like I want something where I could use my brain and my body, and something where I just show up to work, kind of do the job, and then go home and have a life, So I don't want like to be a slave to the system. Oh, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And then it's tricky because I always have the dogs with me. So it's almost like, well, what kind of job can I have where I can bring them with me or work a half day and then Jeff watches them in the other half of the day? So it's let me go let her out. Hold on. Ugh. I don't know what you want, girl. She should be tired. I think it's past her bedtime. But yeah, so it's like there's so many jobs I could do, but it has to pay. It has to be worth it, you know? So I don't know. So I'm kind of like in the middle of like looking at different things, you know? And then it was kind of just a whim of the moment. I looked on like Craigslist this morning and just looked at all the side things and random stuff you can work for jobs there. And then it's sad when like a lot of them pay like $15 an hour, which in other places that would be like a lot of money. Where I live, that's like getting paid, it's like equivalent to getting paid like $5. You're like, what am I gonna buy with that? A pack of gum? That's like what it's like, you know? So you cannot survive on $15 an hour out here. You can't even really survive on $40 an hour out here. You know, it's just that's just how it is around here. It's crazy. We're talking US dollars. So yeah, so I'm kind of like open to suggestions of what you guys might come up with as like other jobs. Like maybe there's jobs out there I don't think about. Like part of me is like, yeah, I'm pretty crafty, so I can do some power tools, you know. I don't know. I can do all kinds of stuff. You know, I haven't made a resume in who knows how long because I always got my other jobs because I knew somebody, you know, or because I always knew somebody, or because I already had experience in that field. I've had photography jobs. I've worked. I worked at an amusement park. What else did I do? I've worked restaurant work. I worked as a barista. What else? Pet care specialist. I worked in a grooming salon. So I have a lot of sales, customer service. I've done inventory. I don't know. I could do receptionist stuff, but that seems kind of boring. I hear something outside. And I hear her growling at something at the back door. I don't want to let her out when she was growling at something at the back door. I don't think they get coyotes through here. Some of my clients where they live, they can get coyotes in their backyards. I've seen like one or two in 11 years. And they look like Gavin, but smaller. Hold on. This is why I haven't done this video. But yeah, so I'm kind of jack of all trades. I could do any kind of job. And then that's something tricky too. So like, okay, if I change jobs, am I gonna start doing like that new type of work here before I move somewhere? Or do I do it when I move to the new place, new state or whatever? Because then, you know, it's like fresh start, whatever. Maybe it's something they have there. So it's kind of like tricky, you know? And then it's hard because like my clients book me a couple months in advance usually because certain times of the year I'm really busy with other clients. So like, I don't know, maybe I start at the beginning of the new year, but a lot of jobs kind of don't hire then either. So it depends. Part of me thinks just to do a bunch of odd jobs. Like I saw an Craigslist ad for you just to like assemble furniture. Like, you know how people buy the stuff from IKEA and then they just pay you like $25 an hour to like assemble that? Like, no problem. I've done that for clients. Like, I've done all kinds of odd jobs in the past. Part of me thinks that would kind of be a good way to go. It's, you know, to where like, you know, you just pick up some work here and there and, you know, just build all different kinds of skills. You're always like learning something and doing something new and different, you know, instead of always the same thing every day, you know? Like, I'm okay with that, you know, or working when I need to or want to. And, you know, it is tricky too because I have the dogs, you know, they roll with me. True, Jeff can always take one or two of them with him to work, you know, but he can't take all three of them, you know, his truck's too small for that, you know, plus it's hard to handle all three while he works. So he can handle one or two, you know. Um, Side note, Kaylee's now gone 3 days without being in her crate. So that's kind of cool. We took the crate out of the van and she's done so far for the daytime, but at night we were pet sitting somewhere else. So she did sleep in her crate at night. So tonight will be the first night she's not in her crate. And Jeff's out in the van with her and Gavin and Spike as I'm pet sitting Gracie. So curious to hear how that worked out. You know what I mean? Daytime she's done okay. She wants to play with Gavin like the whole time, you know, the whole day, but she's doing pretty good. We tethered her down so she's not like running laps in the van and really harassing Gavin. So, because they would wrestle and wrestle and wrestle if she wasn't like tethered down, you know. So, and it keeps her from getting into too much stuff. So, yeah. Side note. Yeah, I do feel like, of course, like always, like I ramble, you know. But maybe you guys just listen to me like in the background as you're like driving somewhere or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I should do that. Since I only have like 3 radio stations in my car. Yeah, so it's like exciting and stressful, but I'm trying not to put too much stress on myself either because it's like a lot of it's just like planning and thinking and daydreaming kind of phase for a lot of stuff. But then it's also kind of like if I leave doing what I do for 11 years, that's been like my whole life, you know? So it's kind of weird to like kind of walk away from that, you know? And to be like, okay, I'm going to work till what point, you know? And it's like weird to not say, oh, well, I'm going to go do this or that. That's more fantastic or fabulous. You know, if I tell my clients I'm not going to do it anymore, they're like, well, what are you going to do? I don't know yet. I don't know. Like, that doesn't sound good. And my mom always, like, worries about me. And I'm always like, Mom, I'm the least kid you have to worry about. You know, I'm always good. I got my career going. Got my van. I'm good. You know, and then I'm not doing what I do now. And then she's really going to be. I mean, I don't care what my mom thinks, honestly. I really don't. But, yeah, so that's just kind of what's been going on. And then it's tricky too because like not only so if we move somewhere else, it's like, well, is Jeff going to continue doing gardening, or he also has arborist, he knows how to do that, tree work and everything else. You know, does he want to go do that somewhere else wherever we move? That's like a very needed job, you know, and if he was to do that on his own, he'd have to get a truck and a chipper, and all that costs like thousands of dollars. Like, it's a lot, you know? And he's sought to do that. And he's at the point, too, where he's like, I don't want to do gardening anymore. Well, then what are you going to do? I don't know, but I don't want to do this anymore. And he doesn't have, like, really that many skill sets. I mean, he does and he doesn't, you know? And you have to, like, kind of want to work this day and age. It's healthy. It's good, you know? Me, I'm kind of content and happy, like, doing almost anything. As long as I'm, like, productive, I'm good, you know? As long as I'm kind of, like, busy, then I'm good, you know? I don't like to do jobs that are, like, so people-oriented anymore. Like, when I was younger, I used to love the customer service jobs and the retail jobs where it's like you help everybody out and talk to everybody. Now I'm like, I don't want to do that so much. I'd rather, like, talk to the same, like, crew of people maybe, or just put me in the back where I got to work by myself and then I'll come check in with you. Like, those kind of jobs is what I'm more, or if you have to work one-on-one with somebody else, like a team doing something together maybe. You know, that's fine too. And sometimes I think too, well, maybe Jeff and I can do a job together, like either the landscaping or maybe build vans, but we'd have to like get a warehouse or something like that to be able to do that. But I think that would be something, but it's also really difficult to work with Jeff too, because, you know, sometimes people get a certain way and then you're like, okay, well, I'll just step out of your way then, you know? So it's good and bad for us to work together. You know, sometimes it's nice having separate lives in that sense where you have time apart, you know, because, you know, when you live in the van, it's like you live in the van together, you're always together. And then when you work together, it's like becomes too much. But sometimes it's nice because it gives you guys something to do together, you know, if you work together. But then it's kind of also like, you just never get rid of each other. You're always with each other, you know, kind of. So that can get kind of wearing because you're like that many hours with the one person, you know. So sometimes it's nice to have different jobs because, you know, your mind's working in different ways. You have time apart to think and plan and do a little bit of your time, you know. So yeah, that's just kind of what's been going on in my mind and thinking, and part of me, like, it's like a weird like stress, anxiety kind of thing, and I'm trying not to do that because it's so far in advance, like in a way, and it's like at my own pace, and there's nothing pushing me to have to do this or make these choices. But then a part of me feels like ready, like, oh, I am so ready to do this. I'm so ready. Like, where I gotta go? What do I gotta do? You know, let's do this. Like, let's do this now. I think because I don't have that much patience for things that I always just like want to hurry up and do it, you know. But everything has to have a process, you know, and take time, and you know. So yeah. Trying to think of there's anything else I wanted to mention on that. But yeah, bottom line, I'm open to some suggestions of where you guys live, or where you guys know me pretty well after watching my videos. Where do you think Jeff and I and the dogs would fit in and still doing van life? You know what I mean? So we're thinking more of the western states. You know, I think Texas would be a little too far, you know, I think. And I think a little too hot, you know. Some parts of Texas is okay, but I feel like it's just too far and too hot, you know. And so I think, and I'm almost gearing towards Oregon or Washington because they have a coast and they have a beach. And the dogs love the beach, especially Kaylee. So, you know, and we're thinking somewhere that's not super far from the snow because she's a husky. I would love to take her to the snow at least a couple times in the winter, or where there's light snowfall. I've never driven in the snow, so I don't know anything about snow, really. I mean, I lived in Ohio for like 2 years when I was like 5 to 7 years old. That's all I know of snow. And like, that's not snow. That is like snow, like crazy ass snow, right? And I just remember it was so cold and I hated wearing all the layers of clothes, you know, but that's different kind of snow. But I think West Coast snow, I don't think it's that bad. I don't know. I've been to Tahoe and I've been to Reno when it snowed. But I think that was almost more like end of winter, beginning of spring or something. So I don't think it was like that bad or that cold, but from what I remember. Anyways, totally rambling. But yeah, that's just what I've been thinking. And now I'm hoping, now that I put it out there to the universe and just talked it out, because even between Jeff and I, even though we're around each other all the time, it's like I don't even get the chance to really talk to him about stuff sometimes. Or sometimes he's like not in the mood, or he's like, oh, why are you telling me this now? I'm driving or something, right? So even though we're always